people watch these videos, you see a lot of these different options because people are intelligent. If people get more intelligent, then they control money instead of money controlling them. They write the check here and take care of that. They write the check there and take care of that. Instead of being work camp slaverized, we're like corporate, we're just slaverized, or we're working in some night job and they're just working for the money, just put it in, just working. They're working really hard for the money. So the more intelligent you get, the more you control the money and take care of that. You control it, and less of it is controlling you. You'll see this to be true. And intelligent people moving society forward to where everyone can live in harmony. That's the goal. Coexist, everyone living in harmony. No racism, no kind of dumb bigotry and stuff like that. There's no place for stuff like, oh, this is the white man's country. No, it's not the white man's country. It's the country of freedom, which means anybody can come here and anybody can pursue their dream however they see fit. It's none of your business what they're doing. Well, as long as they're not criminals and bothering you, obviously. And they're not. They're the pursuit of happiness. There's interracial everything. There's nothing to do with racism. Latinos come here and make this country great and pursue happiness and do amazing, wonderful things. And they don't want to live in a system where they're being tracked all the time and everybody is tracking whatever they're doing. They can see them with their girlfriend and they're looking and snickering when they see everything. So, they want freedom. They don't want to be tracked and traced. They don't want to be depopulated. They don't want to be killed. They don't want to lose their kids. They don't want to live in a tract housing, kind of a crap ghetto style housing. No. They want to have a nice car, nice house, and pull into this nice house and have their nice place over there. And what we're learning is the more intelligent you get, you learn this stuff, you start waking up that there's nothing wrong with that. The world is not overpopulated. There's plenty of space for housing and in different places. If you just look at the size of it, the question is really more about establishing new cities and getting people productive in those new cities. Start growing crops, have an electrical station to run electricity there, have a water station that brings in the water. This stuff takes time. This stuff takes tens of years, decades, maybe 10 years from, well, not that long, maybe 2 or 3 years. Within 1 or 2 or 3 years, you can build a town, you can put the water plant in, put the electrical plant in, start putting all the houses in and roads and stuff. People can do that. It takes manpower and labor, and new people can move in there, and that's the giving of life. That's not the controlling of life. That's not the taking of life. That's the giving of life. So that's really what it's all about. Empowering positivity. Humans these days are amazingly intelligent. They can figure out anything, and the idea is to use the stuff for positive and creative purposes. And that's a very different mindset that this fear-based, scarcity mindset, which is not true. The electricity we get comes from water, hydropower. So the electricity in Southern California comes from Lake Mead over there near Vegas, and those turbines are moving there, and that turbines generate friction, which generates the electricity, sending the electricity, keeping the lights on. And there's other sources as well. There should be brownouts, there should be blackouts constantly. So they're monitoring, okay, we're going to have a blackout next week. Okay, there's going to be rolling, lights on, lights off times and stuff. You can see charts of when it's on, because it's not realistic to have always the power always on. There's going to be times when there's more demand and the people have to cut back and keep the power off to meet the demand, and other times when it's going to be back on. And that gives the people an idea that there is not really unlimited power. Because when it's just completely unlimited, when it's completely unlimited, then people take it for granted and be like, there's always this. It means nothing. You take it for granted. So once the stuff is in question, then you don't take it for granted anymore. Once, your rights are in question, then you don't take it for granted anymore. Then you're like, wow, I really do have freedom of speech. And this is an important thing. Where before, it's like, what difference does it make? That doesn't mean anything. So once it's in question, then you start to see that it actually has meaning. It's actually important. The black people really had to stand up for their rights in this country to become full citizens. That's something that they had to stand up because it was in question as to their validity as real human beings, or treated like animals. So they had to stand up against that, and that's what gave them the strength to stand up against that and say, hey, we're real people. You can't just treat us like animals. And that's what gave them the strength to be real humans and free of the bondage of ignorance and stupidity, which is what it was. What that was ignorance, stupidity, and abuse, because you can abuse people if they're in a lower position. If they're free human beings, you cannot abuse them as much. They have more power of their own, and they choose to spend it as they wish. And there's a lot of these strange groups and things going on. This Antifa thing. Antifa looks like, oh, wow, we're doing great things. We're doing, revolutions on stuff, or we're doing protest groups or whatever. And they get the little black hoodie on and stuff. They can't see their face. It's, oh, we're Antifa. But if it gives them a sense of purpose. These people have nothing going on in their life, so it gives them a sense of purpose. But if you see what these Antifa are doing, making snowballs out of feces and throwing them at people, breaking store windows, going in and looting, shooting at people. These are very, very serious criminals, and nobody wants to have stuff like that going on. So if the Antifa is around, the police need to be dispatched immediately and show these Antifa, whose boss, say, leave the area, and put video cameras on them and show them doing these crimes, because the Antifa is paid for by the Jewish Zionist shills, and these Jewish Zionist shills, they know all about that stuff. They want to make the Antifa look like these protest groups and stuff, so everybody's like, whoa, we're not protesters, we don't know nothing about it, let's get the fuck out of here. Antifa is a group which is designed to make all of these social movements look like radicalized, crazy people. Trying to make like all these protest groups look like they're just insane, because they come in and they smash things and destroy things out in the open. We're Antifa, we're the protest. No, you're not a protest group. Antifa is not a protest group. It is just a little terrorist training camp with some little crooks that are terrorist training. They're no better than the local terrorists. They're no better than terrorization guys. Antifa is a crime, kind of a crime group, or they actually kind of sponsor crime. Protesting and civil rights and talking about stuff like that is anti-crime. It has nothing to do with crime. It's just absurd, protest and civil rights, justice, civil justice warriors and stuff like that. These are righteous people. These are people who have amazing causes, and they want to move society forward so that everybody can live together, happy, and where nobody's rights are trampled on. They're not looking to make $1 million. They're looking to improve civilization, to improve the family, to improve communities, to improve cities, to improve public dialogue, so that government works well, that the people work well, that everybody's happy and can pursue their dreams. So that's what these social justice warriors are about, because they identify problems, identify issues that are concerning, deal with that issue, and make sure it's shut down. That way that people can do amazing things. They want society, the bad guys, want society held back. They want society at a gangster level where it's held back. This holding back of society like this is what's keeping the people at a dumb level. This is what's keeping the cancer cures back from the people. This is what's keeping the free energy technology back from the people. Only the people who own the energy companies themselves are profiting if everybody is buying their energy and nobody has cheap electricity and free power. If the people have the free power and the free electricity, then families can prosper. There's not as much crime and corruption. People can live happy and free. And so that's where the subject is a little confused, because the people, who is the people? Just the people? The people is everybody. The group that's really cool is called Anonymous. The Anonymous group is not Antifa. The Anonymous group is a group that on the internet releases, some of them are hackers or whatever, or proclaim to be hackers, but they're not really hackers. Some of them may be hackers, but they're not really hackers. Anonymous is a group that discloses these crimes, these evils in our civilization, and says the people should be coexisting. The people should have freedom. That's everybody. That's all people. So usually the ones who are somehow paid off, they are paid off, they're corrupted. If you're paid off in some way through so many scams, then you're corrupted in some way. And they cannot pay off all the people. They could try to pay off all the people, but they cannot really pay off all the people, because a lot of people will take the money and still see the scam, because they're not stupid. And they'll still see the scam. Take the money and still see the scam. Because the point is that they want to dumb everyone down, or kind of dumb down the masses of society, so that these new technologies and the positive freedom attitude and stuff like that does not become a pop culture kind of thing. If it becomes an explosion of a pop culture kind of thing, then there is true positivity. And that is what we saw with Donald Trump when he was elected and stuff. He's made tremendous progress. I mean, just slashing and burning Satanism everywhere he goes. And it's not rocket science, that's the thing. All the bad guys get a million little scams of the solar system, and 6.5 degrees southeast, is the sun, and then the moon is 77 million miles circulating at 6.5 angles, Make it very, very complicated. The good stuff is not complicated. It's obvious. The sun provides light. You go to work, you make money. You want to be free and happy. The good stuff is timeless, and the good stuff is for everyone. It's not to be, because you disclose these ideas. Ideas have no race. Ideas are inspiration. Everybody has good ideas. So, it was kind of the anti-enslavement system. There's an enslavement system, and there's a kind of ways around the enslavement system to not be as enslaved. It's the red pill of the matrix. The red pill of the matrix means that you learn the truth. You learn true information, and the truth shall set you free. Because once you learn the red is like a hard color, like a red. Once you learn these red flag, red topics, important, truth topics, then you can improve your life on a real level. You can really improve things, because you're cutting through some of the scams that they use to control and manipulate people, so that now you can free your life up from those scams, and you have a tremendous amount of positivity, because you see the truth of the light of day instead of the darkness of the night of fear and evil, which is an example of all these scams and stuff that are kind of corroding and corrupting your ability to see right down the street, and see trees, and see grass, and see friends, and see things in a crystal clear manner. If everything is dumbed down, all these little scams and mind games everywhere, it's corruptive of your own life. So there is an awakening going on, and these video makers that are doing this stuff, they are discussing this awakening and stuff. It's happening, this awakening, and there's forces against it, there's forces for it. The forces for it are the people who don't want to be as enslaved. That's true, don't want to be as enslaved. The forces that like that corruption, they don't care about enslavement. They go to work a lot as just be enslaved. They don't care. Okay, that's Satan, or evil. Carelessness. Carelessness is a very neglect. Carelessness is a very evil thing. To neglect and to care less and not care at all, very, very. That's an evil thing. Okay, to put care and love, true care and love, into something, you know, that's very powerful. It's hard to do. You have to actually think deeply into something as to what, and really know about a person or know about something. What is your real goal? What is your real dream? You should really pursue your dream and really go for that real dream. It'll make you happy, and you'll make money on it too.